In 2025, if everything goes well, GTA 6 will release. Okay, so the same day I recorded that line, Rockstar just announced that the game will be delayed to 2026 May 26th. So I guess I have more time to complete this series or something. To celebrate this, I will analyze every entry in the franchise to find out what makes the series unique and how it evolved throughout the generations. I start from GTA 3 because this is the first in which we can find all the fundamental aspects that will continue on in the series. The game starts with a bank heist in which our main protagonist is introduced, Claude. During this heist, Claude's Latina GF, Catalina, betrays him. She calls him a
small time,
shuts him and leaves him. So yeah, she is the antagonist. Turns out Claude survived and he is transported in a prison convoy, but the Colombian cartel intercepts the convoy so they can rescue some old dude. Claude and another inmate, 8Ball, use this opportunity to escape. But the bridge where the ambush happened is blown up by the cartel with a pack of AA batteries. This is only a minor inconvenience for Claude and 8Ball, because they are on the Portland side, where 8Ball can provide a place to stay and some jobs to do for Claude. So they get into the Kuruma.
Low, but my hands are all messed up, so you better drive, bro.
Place, Liberty City, which is based on the fictional city of Bucharest. And it takes place in the same year the game was released, 2001. And the only thing that represents this time period is this. But my Gen Z brain can't even comprehend what this is, so let's move on. After we meet Luigi and complete a simple task, we are offered the opportunity to do further jobs for him. However, we don't care about that right now, because we have an open world to explore. With the tunnel project falling behind schedule and the only bridge having a hole in it, we are limited to explore only Portland. You can steal any vehicle, attack anyone, and cause all kinds of chaos, but don't think that there won't be any consequences. The cops will come after you until you do something about it. And your wanted level will increase based on how much havoc you create. If you kill someone, the ambulance comes to revive them. So yeah, the fundamentals of the sandbox world remain the same as in the previous games, and will stay unchanged in the future. With the context of being a criminal, it is not out of place. It assists the sandbox environment and also the context of the story. Apart from this, the game world offers lots of cool little activities for the player to engage in. Look over there, there's a train. You can get on it and go to different stops. You can find vehicles with unique side missions where you can experience the roles of those from the receiving end of your actions, such as paramedic, firefighter, vigilante, and taxi missions. Other utility vehicles have special features, like turning in security cars for their cash rewards. Some vehicles even allow access to areas that would otherwise be unreachable. All of these were in the previous games, but now in 3D these are all fresh with new perspective, and many new missions and possibilities are born from this new 3D environment. For example, the off-road challenges, which would have felt strange in a 2D top-down perspective. Exploration is also rewarded, with weapons and help pickups scattered around the city, and also side activities being scattered around the city. What's this? A hidden package. Collect enough of them and you'll receive weapon pickups at your safe house, which will help you in future missions. Whoa, there's a floating skull in this alley. Starting a rampage mission with it lets you unleash mayhem with a specific weapon and a time limit. In another alley you can find a van that allows you to start an RC car mission, where you have to blow up vehicles. But hold on, we don't just kill and blow up innocent NPCs, we take down gang members. Now that I mention it, you probably noticed these color-coded gang members who occasionally fight each other. Hopefully we won't have any problems with them. There are also NPCs whom for a price will get into your vehicle to do bouncy with you, but if you kill them you can get your You can also spice up the driving in the city. There are ramps littered throughout the map, and you are free to do epic stunts with your car for rewards. All of these features and mechanics make the game world feel alive. That allows the player to be a part in it, with lots of variety in the gameplay, of which you do as much as you like, and none of them are forced upon you, making it a true sandbox experience that also allows it to be enjoyed by different player bases. After playing for a while, you might notice just how soul-crushingly dark this game is visually. Even during the daytime, when the sun is shining, there is something unsettling about the game world. You might find some relief in knowing that this was intentional. The developers wanted to create a world that felt scary and oppressive, filled with pedestrians that enhances its sense of chaos in the urban sprawl. When the game was released in the 2000s, the Y2K aesthetic was flourishing. However, there was also a distinct mood and perspective that influenced almost every form of media during that era. Where that plane goes? Oh, okay, it's alright. Yeah, okay, whatever. After 9/11, most films and video games changed aesthetically and conceptually, adopting a more serious and darker tone while also placing a greater emphasis on realism. GTA 3 was affected by this as well. The game was originally set to be released shortly after the incident, but due to the new context, certain elements had to be altered or removed. As a result, the game's release was delayed by 3 weeks to allow for these changes. One of the most significant changes, which became crucial to the game's legacy, was the redesign of its original cover art. It was replaced with the now iconic collage-style artwork that every entry in the series continues to use to this day. However, the game's overall aesthetic remained largely unchanged. By 2000, this visual style had already been established during development. I mention this event because it is important to consider how it influenced the game and its release, adding another layer of historical context to the experience of playing the game. Visually, the game is still nice to look at, thanks to the clever use of the skybox and how it affects the environment with different weather presets and day and night cycles. Each combination of time and weather creates a unique atmosphere, and when combined with the man-made lighting of the streets, it results in some truly stunning environments. However, some of the game's unnerving atmosphere comes from the janky environments. This is because most of the map is designed to be viewed from a specific perspective. When approaching certain areas from unintended angles, they can feel off. Like, for example, you always drive by this building and you don't give much thought about it, but as soon as you go behind it, it's completely different. It's like you ignore the guiding routes of the force perspective. This is not out of bounds, but rather underdeveloped in comparison to more polished sections in the game world. The NPCs also contribute to the city's atmosphere. I mean, just imagine the game without them. Despite its flaws, the game has its own charm, and it's still incredible what the developers managed to achieve in this hardware. Okay, so here's a little rundown by ChatGPT of the technical aspects of this game. Before GTA 3, open world games were mostly top-down like GTA 1 and 2 or level-based like Driver. Rockstar built Liberty City as a seamless living breathing 3D world, setting a new standard for open world game design. Unlike many other open world games of the era, GTA 3's city was one big interconnected environment, except when moving between islands. This was an impressive feat on the PS2's limited 32 MB of RAM. GTA 3 had real-time physics, meaning vehicles had weight, momentum, and could flip, explode, or deform on impact. Instead of text-only dialogue like in older GTAs, GTA 3 had fully voiced cutscenes and NPCs. The radio stations had licensed music, hilarious commercials, and talk shows, creating an immersive world. On the PS2, rendering a massive city without severe pop-in was tough. Rockstar pushed the hardware to its limits, making Liberty City feel expansive and believable. Instead of loading everything at once, the game streamed in parts of the city dynamically, allowing for much larger world than was typically possible on the PS2. Yeah, I totally agree with the guy. It's hard to believe, but for its time this game was realistic, featuring details and mechanics that were ahead of its era. Elements like detailed vehicle damage, ambient world sounds, raindrops appearing on the camera lens during a storm, trash or newspapers blowing through the streets. Small immersive details, such as after a dead NPC despawns, it leaves a chalk outline where the body was. While these details may seem minor by today's standards, they played a crucial role in making the game world feel alive and authentic. Another way they made you feel like being in a living interconnected city is through the radio stations, where if not ads or music was playing, one of the side characters from the main story took part in a talk show, adding even further characterization into the story. These minor details showcased Rockstar's obsession with pushing the boundaries. Okay, now that all that bullshit is out of the way, let's talk about the story missions. As I said, our first mission giver is Luigi, who is the stereotypical pimp, and Luigi is the first member of the Leone family that we meet. He gives us simple, easy missions. Through Luigi, we get introduced to Joey Leone, Salvatore Leone's son, who is a car mechanic or something like that. He's our next mission giver. Through the Joey missions, we get introduced to Tony Cipriani.
This is Pop's capo, Tony Cipriani.
Yeah, I'm Tony Cipriani.
Who is another member of the Leone family, and he is based on our favorite gabagool eater, Tony Soprano. In the Cipriani Chauffeur, the Triad gang war backstory side story is established. In That Skunk in the Trunk, Claude's job is made much harder by some Forelli brothers, whom are a lot less significant in this game.
He'll never be as tough as his pop, but he left you a note on the table.
Oh yeah, and Cipriani also has a mom, which is again a Sopranos reference. Salvatore's called a meeting. This mission is interesting in the sense that we have to pick up all the people that we worked for and take them to a meeting where we can meet the head of all this craziness that is the Salvatore family. In Chaperone we get introduced to Maria, and in this mission we can see the remains of the early concept of Maria being a love interest for Claude.
I enjoyed myself for the first time in a long while, and you treated me really good with respect and everything. I better go. I'll see you around, I hope.
Trials and Tribulations. At the beginning of this mission, it is stated that the Leones and the Triads are at war, and the game doesn't shy away from this concept, because wherever you go throughout this mission, the two opposing gangs are fighting each other, making this one of the early renditions of the gang wars and riots in San Andreas. In Blowfish, Cipriani finally has enough and wants to end the war with the Triads, and the resolution being blow up their fish factory. And this is the first instance of the so-called destructible environments in the series. The player cannot destroy buildings in real time, but the devs still wanted for the player to make an impact on the environment, thus making these scripted events that is enough for the player to have that I did that thing feeling whenever they drive by the place. The Salvatore family has a rat, so we have to do a mandatory tailing mission to find out he is providing information to. Turns out it's Catalina, who somehow became the co-leader of the cartel with the help of Miguel, and she also operates a spank factory in that ship, which is not good for business. So Claude is tasked to blow that shit up.
I'm asking you to destroy that spank factory as a personal favor to me, Salvatore Leone. If you do this for me, you will be a made man.
Thomas Shelvik, Mafia.
Mafia.
Sigma.
Sigma.
After we pass a paywall, we go to the harbor with our torch-handed friend 8-Ball. We have to snipe cartel guards while 8-Ball is planting a bomb with his fucked up hands, because you know his hands are all messed up. And then he flees the ship while it explodes. Look at him run. So the spank factory is destroyed and the ship is swallowed by that digital black goo called water, thus making the cartel our new enemy. The conflict with them originates from Salvatore being paranoid because of the rats inside the family. So when his wife Maria lies and says she and Claude are having an affair just to spite him, Salvatore sends Claude to his death by planting a bomb in a car he ordered Claude to take away. Maria finds out and warns Claude just in time, and along with Yakuza leader Asuka Kesson, they leave Portland on a boat to Staten Island. This leads the player in a never-ending conflict with the Leones. After the jobs Claude did for them, the Triads and the Leones make the whole island of Portland a really bad place to be in, because wherever you are, one of these gangs will attack you. Claude is a voiceless protagonist, and back then this was a common thing for action games. After the game released, it was stated by Rockstar that he wasn't voiced because of technical limitations, but there is evidence that Claude initially had audible voice lines in beta footage and also lines in the script that we can see in the game's original design document. But then, what happened? We didn't see any of it in the final product. Many fans are wondering why, and there are many explanations for this. But personally, I think it was for cutting work hours. Not only recording the voice lines, but writing the lines themselves. Whenever someone gives a task to the main character has to address the situation in some way, by either refusing.
Then I guess that means that my problems are sort of your problems.
Nope.
Or questioning the task.
Hello? What's the deal?
So it can make sense, to make our main guy believable. But in our game, the side character tells the exposition, Claude turns back and does the thing without saying a word. This makes most of the cutscenes kind of awkward.
In these days of moral hypocrisy, certain valuable commodities can be hard to import.
But this would be not a problem for player skin number 2. He's a very talkative one.
Egregio signore, vorrei prendere in prestito la sua macchina, per favore.
We don't get to know anything about Claude, cause probably the devs thought that this fits better for the main protagonist that the player controls, thus making a shell of a killing machine that is kinda soulless. The only reason I'm sure that Claude's goal is to get revenge on Catalina is because the plot is based on the 1999 film Payback, that has a similar plot. What I'm trying to say is that they wanted something but didn't have the time to finish it, and it was better to keep the protagonist silent. Catalina, the antagonist, somehow becomes co-leader of the Colombian cartel, achieving this probably with his new partner Miguel, who probably had ties with the cartel. Miguel comes to the same fate as Claude by being betrayed by Catalina when they cross paths with Claude. Unlike Claude, she doesn't have a clear goal, or anything that we know about. She tries to climb the ladder in the criminal world, supporting the rags to riches theme of the series, but from antagonist's point of view, by betraying Claude for being a small-timer that he has no use for him anymore. She has to climb a step up on the ladder, thus forcing also Claude to be on a rags to riches quest if he wants revenge, and eventually becoming a threat to each other. For the next few characters, the game is trying to push this revenge theme with them, for example with Asuka and Maria. No, actually I don't think they have anything to do with it, but Claude is now working for this inseparable couple, and Asuka is the one who tasks Claude to kill Salvatore.
I can give you work with our organization, but first you must prove to me that your ties with the Mafia are truly broken. Salvatore Leone will be leaving Luigi's in about 3 hours' time. Make sure he doesn't reach his club alive.
Through Asuka we meet Kenji, Asuka's brother, whom Claude will later on kill, but it doesn't make any difference how they are siblings, because she won't even find out about that Claude is the one who killed him. Kenji is the only mission giver whose entire missions are missable, which is a fun feature because it can lock you out of 100%. His missions are missable because you kill him, but even before he gets killed, his missions are not mandatory. Probably because if you don't work with him in the beginning, it's morally better when you kill him, so that's why they didn't make his missions mandatory, in my opinion. Interesting thing about him is at the beginning of every mission he says some wise sayings.
When trouble looms, the fool turns his back, while the wise man faces it down.
Except for the moment when he greets Claude like this.
You. How fitting you should choose this moment to show your worthless.
Okay, so through Asuka we also get introduced to Ray Machowski, who is a corrupt cop and informant for the Yakuza. Ray Machowski, who is so paranoid that his office is a public bathroom. This guy is so distrustful that from a certain point, not him, but a bathroom stall will give you the missions.
I know a real important man in town, a soft touch with, shall we say, exotic taste.
In his missions, you help Ray to betray lots of his colleagues to save his skin. In arms shortage, we have to help Ray's old army buddy to protect his business from the cartel. The army buddy is Phil Cassidy, who is missing one of his arms. I wonder how. In Gone Fishing, the devs had to meet the quota for the boat mission, so Claude has to go out to the sea to kill Ray's partner, who is apparently fond of Icelandic cuisine, who likes to eat fish from polluted water. Turns out we didn't actually kill him, because somehow he survived and turned into a new SCP. And the healthcare system in Liberty City is so good that they make you an armored body casket, which needs 10 rockets, a gang war and a burnout with a tire on it to actually kill the dude.
I know a real important man in town, a soft touch with, shall we say, exotic tastes and the money to indulge them. He's involved in a legal matter, and the prosecution has some rather embarrassing photos of him at a Moore party or something.
That important man is Donald Love, and guess what? He is based on Trump, and he is also voiced by Kyle MacLachlan. So yeah, Agent Cooper is our final mission giver. At this point I was like, I modded the shit out of this game so it could work properly. Wouldn't that be crazy how the audio would glitch out in the remaining cutscenes? So from now on the cutscenes are like this.
In these days of moral hypocrisy, certain valuable commodities can be hard to import. On its approach to the airport, make sure you pick them up before anyone else does.
Love would also like to capitalize on the fact that the Yakuza and the cartel are having a rivalry. So Claude, impersonating a cartel member, has to kill Kenshi. Love also provides this fun mission called Drop in the Ocean, in which you have to pick up packages that a plane drops in the ocean, and with each pickup you gain a wanted level. So when you arrive to the shore you have a 6-star wanted level, and if you are not a pussy and go to the pay and spray to remove that, then you will have a fun time dodging tanks that will make you explode with one impact. So yeah, that mission can be hard. Let's say you suffer through with the Drop in the Ocean mission, so you can deliver these packages to Love. Well, in the next one he says this.
Thank you for retrieving those packages, but they were only a decoy. Sorry about that, but that's sometimes the way in business.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
My real objective was hidden on the plane all along.
By the way, Shoreside Vale is unlocked. Because the bridge is now fixed, it will sometimes go and you have to go fast because the bridge will break open as if there would be a ship traffic in this game, and you will have to go there so you can get Love's plane. And when you arrive to the hangar, this happens, which will be important in the future. You get into this plane, which is the only operable aerial vehicle, and I managed to fly with it for 3 seconds. Its wings are clipped, and yes, that is the in-game explanation. They knew how hard is flying in this game, because they have to reward you with each second you can fly with it. But no worries, we don't have to fly because we came here for the package, which is actually not in the plane, so Claude makes an investigative work. And for the first time, we can see one of his thoughts. And it turns out that van that was passing by is going to that construction yard. Probably they have the package. When you arrive to the construction yard, you do some shooting and you go to the lift. And look who you stumble upon again, Catalina and Miguel. And they also have the package. Miguel wants to give up the package, but Catalina knows he's another small timer. She shoots Miguel and then she goes and kills herself. Oh no, actually she might live. And Miguel shot, but also is still alive. And somehow Asuka turns up. Okay, so that just happened, but we still have a package to deliver. A package that is actually surrounded by mystery, because no one knows what's in it, but people still really want to have it, including Love. And after we do few more missions for Love...
A lesson in business, my friend. If you have a unique commodity, the world and his wife will try to wrestle it from your grasp, even if they have little understanding as to its true value.
Damn, this dude definitely wakes up at 6 AM and takes a cold shower. Okay, let's see what player 2 would say about this. Ew, what the fuck happened to him?
Kill me.
In his last mission, Love's disappearance, Love disappears. Only thing we can find is the empty briefcase in which the mysterious package was. What happened to Love? No one knows. It's one of the more interesting ways to conclude a character, with its lack of conclusion. Because in this game, a character either has to be killed or put on a plane, but not for Love. This is a unique cutscene, because in each and every one of them somebody greets you, except for this one, making this to have an eerie nature. Asuka not having any knowledge about who really killed her brother, Claude continues to work for her again in the hope that he will get closer to Catalina. Oh, and meanwhile Ray is a marked man, so we smuggle him to the airport. After that he gives us an armored car. We do some more lame jobs for Asuka, while she and Maria is trying to get out more information from Miguel, until we finally get to the endgame with Ransom. Miguel and Asuka is killed and Maria is nowhere to be found, and there is a ransom note left there by Catalina. On that note we find out that Catalina learned to speak in Scribble. Claude goes to the mansion with the ransom money, and he is greeted by Catalina with this.
The real question is, did you turn up to rescue Maria or to get me back?
Which is a good question, because we still don't know what are the intentions of Claude, and the devs knew this as well. Okay, the final mission, which is actually one of the best parts of the game in a gameplay sense, and it also can be really hard. But if you know what you're doing, this mission can be fun, because it is made out of multiple parts. With in the beginning your weapons being taken away, you have to escape from the mansion, you have to follow Catalina's chopper with a car, there is this sniping section, and then some more shooting, and then you can shoot down Catalina's chopper with rockets and prove it that she is the one who is a small timer. The chopper crashes and Catalina dies. Maria is saved. Just before the credits roll, this happens.
My hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
Did Claude kill her? If he did, then that means that he's left with no friends in Liberty City or anyone he met throughout the story, because they either died or flee the city. There is probably 8 Ball there. If we consider that he's also part of the Leone family, then he might be also against Claude. So yeah, this leaves it to be a depressing ending. But how would I rate this story? Well, it just makes me sad, because there were lots of potential in it. The writers were pushing this revenge and betrayal theme and some of the characters fit into the theme well, and some did not. The writers did a way better job in GTA 4 with this theme. When a mission isn't challenging enough, the game often relies on the good old classic timer to add tension, sometimes with a story explanation, sometimes without. However, timers are used so frequently and in many cases without justification that they lose their impact later in the game. As a result, seeing a timer no longer creates a sense of urgency or tension, it just feels like another routine obstacle. In this game, it is evident that the focus was placed more on gameplay than on story. While this is true for most games in general, this particular entry in the series exemplifies it the most. The developers had to find creative ways to shake up the usual shoot and drive formula by introducing small twists to familiar mechanics. For example, a mission might give you a fast car, but with a bomb rigged to explode if you take damage or run out of time. Or you might have to collect items with a vehicle, but with each pickup the car gets heavier. As a result, most missions only provide a shallow backstory, often centered around a gang war, serving mainly to justify why the factions are at odds, rather than deeply developing the narrative. If you'd like to play this game in 2025, then let me show you how it feels like this. First of all, you have to find a proper version to play on. The definitive edition is available for online purchase. It works well, but it lacks the original vibe. There is the PS2 version through emulator. It is the most authentic way to play the game, but it lacks some quality of life features. There is the PC version, which is such a broken port. The physics break about 30 FPS, there are audio issues, and the game crashes a lot, so you have to spend some time with mods to fix the game. But you can also use some other cool mods. If you found the proper version, you also have to suffer through with the jankiness of this game. The very basic shooting mechanics, no mission checkpoints, and the police AI is crazy. But if you are aware of these and know what you're doing, it can be a very fun experience. Yes, this game was fundamental, revolutionary and all that shit, but I have never heard anybody say that this is their favorite game in the series. Which says a lot. This is due to the franchise only finding its special identity from Vice City onward, because from that game on, each entry focused heavily on the time period it takes place in. While this game was just experimenting with the new tech, what they can achieve with it. But if this is truly your favorite game in the franchise, then let me know in the comments so we can make fun of you.